11th March 2022. Morning Murli, Shanti, BapDada, Madhuban. Sweet children, this is your final birth. Therefore, renounce the vices. In this final birth, free yourself from the chains of Ravan. Question: which children receive the father's support? With which children is the father always pleased? Answer: the children with honest hearts receive the father's support. It is said that the Lord is pleased with an honest heart. The Father is pleased with those who put every direction of His into practice. The Father's directions are for you to stay in remembrance, become pure, and do service to show others the path, to take care of yourselves in the company of Shudras, and not to perform wrong actions with your physical organs. The Father is pleased with those who imbibe all of these things. Song: the heart says thanks to the one who has given it a support. Om Shanti. Your children are listening to knowledge here. Knowledge of what? Is it the knowledge of the scriptures? No. Your children know that all human beings receive knowledge of the scriptures. Here, the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, is giving us knowledge. None of the sannyasis who study and recite the scriptures would say this. They don't relate knowledge. In any spiritual gathering you go to, you would find human beings sitting there. They would be called Shastriji, Panditji, or Mahatmaji. The name is connected with the human being. Here your children know that it is not a human being who is giving you knowledge, but that it is the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, who is giving it through a human being. Thus things are not said at any other spiritual gatherings. Thus things are not even in the intellects of those who give lectures. The one giving us knowledge is not a human being or a deity. Although the deity religion doesn't exist at this time, the names of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar, who are residents of the subtle region, are remembered. Lakshmi and Narayan, etc., are human beings with the divine virtues. At this time, all human beings have devilish traits. No human beings consider themselves to be souls, that the Supreme Soul is giving them knowledge through so and so. The belief that such and such a Mahatma or such and such a Shastriji, means priest, is relating a story to them or relating the Vedas, scriptures, or Gita to them. The Father says, I do not tell you anything of the scriptures. You consider yourselves to be souls and then you say, O purifier, come. He is the remover of sorrow and the bestower of happiness for all. He is the bestower of peace for all, the bestower of liberation and liberation in life for all. He cannot be a human being. People wake up early in the morning and perform so much devotion. Some sing devotional songs and relate religious stories. That is called the path of devotion. Those who are on the path of devotion don't know what the path of devotion is. Here, there is only devotion everywhere. Knowledge is the day and devotion is the night. When there is knowledge, there is no devotion, and when there is devotion, there is no knowledge. The copper and iron ages are devotion, and the golden and silver ages are the fruit of knowledge. Only that ocean of knowledge gives the fruit. What fruit would God give? Fruits means the inheritance. God would give the inheritance of liberation and also take you back with Him to the land of liberation. At this time, there are so many human beings that there isn't enough space for everyone to live in. There isn't enough food, and this is why God has to come. Ravan makes everyone impure, and then the purifier comes and purifies everyone. The one who purifies you is separate from the one who makes you impure. You now know who it is who makes the pure world impure and who makes the impure world pure. People say, "Oh, purifier, come." They call out to the one. The sustainer of all is one. There are no vicious beings in the golden age. Impure means someone who indulges in vice. Sannyasis don't indulge in vice, and this is why they are not called impure. It is said that a pure soul is one who has renounced the 5 vices. The number one vice is lust. Sannyasis also have a lot of anger. They renounce their wives because they believe that it is impossible for men to remain viceless in their company. They believe that that is the purpose of marriage. There isn't that law in the golden age. The father explains, "Children, there is no one impure there." The praise of the deities is that they are full of all virtues and completely viceless. The kingdom of Ravan begins in the Copper Age. The Father himself says, "Conquer lust, remember me and the pure world, and you won't be impure anymore. I have come to establish the pure world, and secondly, all of you are Brahmins, children of the one Father, and you are therefore brothers and sisters." Until this sits in your intellects very clearly, you won't be able to be free from the vices. Until you become a child of Brahma, it is very difficult to become pure. You won't receive help. Okay, put aside Brahma. You say that you are children of God, and because you are in corporeal forms, you are brothers and sisters. So then, you mustn't indulge in vice. Everyone says that they are the children of God, and the Father says, "Children, I have come. Those who have come and now belong to me are brothers and sisters." The creation of brothers and sisters takes place through Brahma, and so they cannot indulge in vice. The Father says, "This is your last birth. Renounce this vice for one birth." Sannyasis renounce this and go into the forest. You renounce it to go to the pure world. Sannyasis don't have any temptation. Householders give them a lot of respect, but they don't become worthy of being worshipped in a temple. Deities are worthy of being worshipped in temples because those souls and their bodies are both pure. We cannot receive pure bodies here. This is an impure Tamapradhan body. Even the 5 elements are impure. Their souls are pure, and the 5 elements are also pure and Satupradhan. Souls are now Tamapradhan, and the elements are also Tamapradhan, and this is why there are floods, storms, etc. that continues to take place. To cause anyone's sorrow is Tamoguni. In the golden age, the elements don't cause any sorrow. At this time, the intellects of human beings are Tamapradhan. Everyone definitely has to go through the stages of Sato, Raju and Tamo. How else would the world become old so that the one who makes it new can come? The Father says, "Children, now become pure in this last birth. Free yourselves from the chains of Ravan. You have been impure for half the cycle due to the following dictates of Ravan." That is very bad habit. The greatest enemy is lust. Some even indulge in vice at the young age because of having such a company. Times are such. Everyone definitely has to become impure. There are also parts for those in the relation of renunciation because they save the world a little from completely burning away. Now only you children know the drama. Although they say that it has been so many years since Christianity was established, they don't know when it will end. They say that the Iron Age has to continue for 40,000 more years. Therefore, Christianity and all the other religions would continue to increase in number for another 40,000 years. Now, after just 5,000 years, they haven't any space left, and so who knows what would happen in 40,000 years. They have written many tall stories in the scriptures. This is why hardly anyone understands anything or follows Srimad at every step. It is very difficult to follow Srimad. You are now becoming like Lakshmi and Narayan, whom the whole world worships. Only you know this, and that too is number wise. The father says, now remember me and remember your home. You quickly remember your home, do you not? When a person returns home from his travels after 8 or 10 years, he is very happy that he is now going back to his birthplace. That journey is for a short time, and that is why you don't forget your home. Here it has been 5,000 years, and this is why you have completely forgotten your home. The Father has now told you, children, this is an old world and it has to be set on fire. Not a single one will remain. Everyone has to die, and this is why you mustn't have any love for this decayed world and these decayed bodies. For 5,000 years, you have been changing your bodies. You have changed your bodies 84 times. The Father now says, you have now completed your 84 births, and this is why I have come. Your paths have ended, and so everyone's paths has ended. Imbibe this knowledge. You have all the knowledge in your intellects. By becoming knowledgeful through the Father, you become the masters of the whole world, and even the world becomes new. All the activities of the path of devotion have to end. Then not a single one will remain who would say, O Prabhu. The words, O Ram, O Prabhu, only emerge in sorrow. These words will not emerge in the golden age because there is no question of sorrow there. So, why should you not follow the directions of such a Father whom you have been remembering? By following God's directions, you will become constantly happy. If while understanding this, someone doesn't follow Srimad, he would be considered a great fool. There is the difference of day and night between God's directions and devilish directions. Now judge for yourselves in which direction you should go. On Maya's side, there is nothing but sorrow. On God's side, there is happiness for 21 births. Now whose direction should you follow? The Father says follow Srimad if you want to. The first thing is to conquer lust. Even before that, remember me. Those old bodies have to be renounced. You now have to return home. At this time, I am aware that I am shedding the old skin of 84 births. There, in the golden age, you understand that you will shed your old bodies and go into childhood again. There has to be the great destruction of this old world. Thus things are not mentioned in the scriptures. The Father sits here and explains to you personally. If you pay attention to all of these things, it is your great fortune. This is so easy. Baba cannot understand why, in spite of that, you forget your sweet home and your sweet kingdom. Why don't you remember them? Some children became dirty by being influenced by bad company. Baba says, children, you will have many dirty thoughts, but you mustn't perform such actions through your physical organs. Don't commit sin and then write, Baba, I performed the sinful act. Forgive me. You performed a sinful act, there will therefore be 100-fold punishment accumulated. Firstly, there is punishment accumulated for not telling Baba. At this time, you can tell who becomes as sinful as Ajamil. Anyone who goes into God's lap and then enlarges in vice show that he is as great a sinner as Ajamil and cannot stay without vice. The dirtiest place of all is the cinema. Run away from any vice. Brahmins are voiceless and so keep the company of Brahmins. You become unhappy in the company of Shudras. You have to act for livelihood of your bodies, but you mustn't commit any sin with your physical organs. Yes, to reform children, you have to explain. You have created a creation and so you have a responsibility. You have to make them earn a true income. It is good to teach something to little children. By remembering shivbaba, you will receive help. The Lord is pleased with an honest heart. Only the children who have honest hearts receive support from the Father. No one in the world can now be a support for anyone else. A support is for taking you to happiness. People only remember the Supreme Soul for Him to come and give everyone peace. In the Golden Age, everyone is happy. All the rest of the souls live in the land of peace. Bharat was heaven and everyone was a master of the world. There was no peacelessness or violence there. It mustn't definitely have been Baba who created that new world. They must have received their inheritance from Baba. How? No one understands that. That is called the kingdom of Ram. It is not that now. It was that, but not anymore. Those of Bharat who were worthy of worship have become worshippers and they definitely have to become worthy of worship again. You are now making effort. God Shiv speaks. The Sri Krishna soul is listening to this in his last birth. He will then become Krishna again. Wake up early in the morning and remember Baba. That time is very good and the vibrations are also pure. When the soul becomes tired at night, he says, I am now becoming detached. You should also have your intellects connected in yoga there while being here. Wake up at Amrit Vela and you will also be able to remember Baba during the day. This is an income. The more you remember Baba, the more you will become a conqueror of sinful action and also be able to imbibe. Those who become pure and stay in remembrance will be able to do service. When you follow directions, Baba is pleased with you. First of all, do service to show everyone the path. In order to show people the way to do yoga, you have to give them knowledge. Your sins will be absolved by staying in yoga. Along with this, also spin the cycle, become Roop and Basant, and points will continue to emerge. Acha, to the sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, BapDada. The spiritual father says, Namaste to the spiritual children. The spiritual children says, Namaste and good morning to the spiritual father. Essence for the dharana. First point, remove your attachment from this decayed world and thus decayed bodies and remember the father and the home. Protect yourselves from the company of Shudras. Second point, in order to become a conqueror of sinful action, wake up at Amrit Vela and stay in remembrance. Practice becoming detached from your body. Blessing, may you truly die alive by dying alive to any attraction of the old world and old sanskars. Explanation, truly to die alive means to die to the old world and old sanskars in your thoughts and dreams for all time. To die means to transform. No attraction can pull such souls. Such souls would never say, what can I do? I didn't want to, but it happened. Some children die alive and then become alive again. When one head of Ravan is cut off, another one appears. So, it is when you finish her foundation that Maya will not change her form and attack you. Slogan, the luckiest of all are those who stay constantly busy in the remembrance and service. Om Shanti